Hello everyone, my name is Kyle Thiem from the National Weather Service office in Peachtree City, and this is your weekly weather briefing for North and Central Georgia for Thursday, October 21st, 2021. All right, for some of the highlights we'll be talking about today, we'll touch on the cold front that's going to be moving through later tonight and some of the showers and potential thunderstorms associated with that. Then the dry weekend that we have in store from Friday through Sunday, and then we have a couple storm systems we're monitoring going into next week. With still a lot of questions around, but it does look like we could have a potential system coming in Monday through Tuesday, and then what looks to be a much stronger storm system possibly Wednesday night into Thursday. Temperatures are going to swing around generally throughout the next week, but generally they're going to be around or just above seasonal with highs from the upper 60s to low 80s. Taking a look at some current satellite trends out there, you can see the low pressure system that's currently circulating just to the south of Lake Michigan. And then we can see a lot of dry air that's starting to enter in through the southeast behind a cold front where we do have some scattered showers starting to pop up just ahead of it throughout our forecast area. Looking at our current surface map, you can see that high pressure that's starting to filter into the southern plains. And a lot of the greens there in the southeast, including Alabama and Georgia, do indicate a warmer, wetter Gulf air mass that has moved in from the south just ahead of the front, where behind the front we do have a cooler, drier continental air, which will be very pleasant by the time it moves into this area. But the convergence around that frontal system has caused some showers to form across the southeast, as well as a line of showers and potential storms to form tonight that will be moving in later this evening. Current look at some of the radar trends out there, we can see some of those scattered showers out there. No thunderstorms into our forecast area just yet, but as we have these scattered showers out ahead of us, we are starting to see some very marginal precipitation accumulations with some potential to add on to that later on tonight. As we take a look at this model run, looking at potential forecast conditions moving in through this evening, we can see that line of showers and thunderstorms starting to move through from the late afternoon into the early evening time period. And one of the recent model trends we're starting to see is these lines of storms really kind of falling apart as they're moving through the forecast area. But with that, we do at least have some potential for some thunderstorms. General thunderstorm outlook is in effect for most of our county warning forecast area, as well as a marginal risk for some severe storms there around the Rome and Dalton area. But as I noted, this is actually starting to become a decreasing trend. We do have some instability in the way, but as we see from our model solutions, a lot of these storms are just having trouble holding together as we go through the evening time. As for today, having a look at our highs, we're looking at highs in the mid 70s to low 80s for today. With rain chances highest really along and to the northwest of that I-85 corridor. For the most part, we're just going to be looking at showers, but like we mentioned, there is a chance for some weak thunderstorms headed into tonight. Lows tonight are going to be relatively high compared to our more seasonal temps. They're going to be running somewhere around 8 to 15 degrees above normal, but should be a balmy mid 50s to mid 60s. Headed into this weekend, as we take a look for Friday, we see that cold front starting to move through there mostly early Friday morning. Temperatures are going to cool slightly, probably about 5 degrees on average on either Friday for North Georgia or by Saturday for Central Georgia, as that high pressure starts to move in and we start to get a blast of some drier air that will help cool us off a little bit. Including on Sunday there, we can see the high pressure starting to slide off to the east a little bit, which is going to bring those warm southerly airflow back into the forecast area before moving into the beginning of next week. And as we see on Monday, a very similar case to what we may have a very similar case to what we have today, where we start to see that moisture on the increase coming into the forecast area with a potential front starting to move through the central plains and low pressure organizing itself moving through the Ohio River Valley. But one thing to note, this system will be a little bit different than the one we're currently seeing, as we have a really strong high pressure just to the north of that Great Lakes region. With this weather pattern, it's going to be hard for that low pressure to really intensify, and because of that, we are starting to see some questions moving in through Tuesday about how potentially strong this low pressure is going to be, and how far south this frontal system is going to drag into the forecast area come Tuesday. And as an example of that, here's a solution looking at a comparison of two different model runs on Monday afternoon. And we see there on the left is more of a European model run where it actually does bring up quite a bit more moisture, and the environmental forcing is much further south than in the American model there shown on the right. So this is just showing the uncertainty that we have moving into the early part of next week. There is a somewhat decreasing trend with this system not having enough forcing and energy to produce widespread showers and thunderstorms, but we are going to have to monitor as the week goes ahead. For now, we have a general chance of showers and thunderstorms moving into Monday and early Tuesday. Then as we start to get into the later term forecast there into Wednesday into Thursday, we do have a much stronger system starting to show itself within our model runs, moving through the Central Plains and Ohio River valleys, bringing up an abundance of moisture out ahead of it, and what looks to be a much stronger cold front organized along with it, as well as quite a bit more rain associated with it, as well as the models are starting to come to consensus with this strong shortwave that'll be moving through the forecast area. And the biggest question with this storm system is not if, but rather when. When will this bigger system start to move through? There's still some discrepancies about that, but it is 7 days out. And as we get a little bit closer in time, we're going to see these models start to converge and to give us a better time frame. And that time frame, depending on when the storm system moves through, will pretty much determine what kind of impacts we're expected to see. If it moves through late into the night into the early morning, we're likely to see less impacts, mostly just heavy rain. But there is a potential with some of the forcing behind the system that we could see some stronger storms if it happens to move through during a time of day where our instability is higher, such as the late morning to early afternoon. So this is the one we're really keeping our eyes out for as far as some potential impacts over the next 7 days, but this isn't likely to move through until sometime either Wednesday night through Thursday afternoon at the moment. As far as a look at our 7-day forecast, we can see some of our rain totals, what we're expecting over the next 7 days. For the most part, we're expecting somewhere between an average of 1 to 2 inches for North Georgia, again, mostly along and north of that I-85 corridor, with somewhere between 1/4 of an inch to an inch elsewhere. As we go through forward in the week, though, I'm starting to suspect that we may see these values start to increase as model runs come to a better consensus for next Thursday's system. But for now, just not expecting anything widespread heavy rain at the moment, but that is subject to change as we head in towards the middle to late part of next week. Taking a look at some of our temperatures here, we do see a dip after today going into the early part of the weekend, Friday and Saturday. For North Georgia, we're going to start seeing those the coolest temperatures coming in on Friday with highs around 67. Whereas for Central Georgia, we're going to see those lower temperatures a little bit more at the start of the weekend there on Saturday, where highs of 76. Elsewise, highs are going to generally be in the 70s, very similar to what we've had the last several weeks and pretty seasonal for this time of year. All right, for some of the highlights we'll be talking about today, we'll touch on the cold front that's going to be moving through later tonight and some of the showers and potential thunderstorms associated with that. Then the dry weekend that we have in store from Friday through Sunday, and then we have a couple storm systems we're monitoring going into next week with still a lot of questions around, but it does look like we could have a potential system coming in Monday through Tuesday, and then what looks to be a much stronger storm system possibly Wednesday night into Thursday. Temperatures are going to swing around generally throughout the next week, but generally they're going to be around or just above seasonal with highs from the upper 60s to low 80s. And with that, thank you for tuning in. This is our contact information if you guys need anything else from us. You can find these briefings on our briefing page at weather.gov/ffc/briefings. And of course, we're always available through our social media channels at NWS Atlanta on Twitter, NWS Atlanta on Facebook, as well as these briefings will be posted to our YouTube channel, which I imagine is what you're listening to these on right now. And with that, thank you for your time. We appreciate you. You all have a great weekend.